Hello there, and welcome to Spaceship Analysis. In this edition of Spaceship Analysis, we're going to be getting up close and personal with the Freelancer MAX, which you can plainly see right over... What the hell? Where's my ship? Hold on a second. Let me get this fixed. There you go. That's better. So to get things started, I want to go up in the air and give you guys a really quick 360-degree view of this ship. Now, the Freelancer MAX is essentially the 18-wheeler cargo hauler of the galaxy, but she is fully capable of defending herself. And now let's go over some of the details of the Freelancer MAX. She is 32 meters long, or 105 feet, 15 meters wide, or 49 feet, and around 8 meters high, or 26 feet high. So the Freelancer is not a small ship, but it's not really a very large ship either. To get this ship moving through space, she comes equipped with two ArcCorp Arc Duo 400 main engines, size TR4s. Those are sort of on the large size of engines, but not terribly large. But she's got 4 of them, so she's got some get up and go. And for maneuvering thrusters, she has MISC Zytek size TR2 thrusters. These are sort of in the medium range. And as a bonus, the Freelancer MAX comes with a jump drive, and in this case, a Tarsus Electronics Leaper jump drive size S1, which is sort of a small to medium size jump drive. And for those of you who have watched my Beginner's Guide series to Star Citizen, you know that a jump drive is used to travel through jump points, which are basically wormholes in space that allow you to cover a vast distance of light years in a very short period of time. But you need a special jump drive to be able to navigate through that wormhole. Now, one thing that really impresses me about the Freelancer MAX is that she can defend herself. She's got some teeth. Along the sides here, she has some twin Kroneg FL-33 laser cannons. These can pack a punch. And what's really cool is the guns can swivel out perpendicular to the ship to fire off to the sides. And it can also swivel up and down as well. That's pretty cool. You can really hit anything that's coming even anywhere near you. And on the back she has a twin gun laser cannon, just in case there are any pesky pirates on your tail. And to really show you mean business, this ship comes with 2 missile racks that can hold 3 missiles in each, of size 2 or 3, which were sort of the smaller size missiles, but still, this little ship can pack a punch. As far as the crew complement goes, she can handle a crew of 2, so it would be like you and a co-pilot, for example, or you and a gunner, and she can hold 280 freight units. Or under the new method of measuring cargo, which was introduced not 12 hours ago, that would come to 70 standard cargo units. So you take the old method of freight units, in this case 280, and you divide that by 4 to get the new method of standard cargo units. Now, I realize just now that back when I showed you the dimensions of the Freelancer, I realized that it might be difficult for some of you to grasp the size of this ship. So I figured that since the Freelancer MAX is basically a space truck, why not compare the size of it to a modern-day 18-wheeler truck that we see every day on the road? That way it'd be easier for you guys to get a sense of scale. So here is the Freelancer MAX, and remember it's 105 feet long, and down below here is an 18-wheeler truck. This is sort of a medium-sized truck. It's not really one of those long bed styles. And next to it is a little guy who's around 6 feet tall or so. So now you can get a better idea of the size of this ship. As far as the size of the actual cargo hold goes, I did some calculations based on knowing the length of the ship and walking around the inside of the cargo bay. And I was able to calculate approximately the size of the interior cargo space. So here's an overlay that I made to show you a rough idea of how much space the cargo bay takes up. And you'll have to excuse my artistic skills, but this is sort of a attempt at making a 3D representation of the cargo bay. Yeah, it looks kind of nice, I guess. All right, so let's take a casual walk around and get a closer look at this nice Freelancer MAX. First thing I want to show you are these awesome guns. Check them out. They even look mean. And you can see right there where they rotate laterally outward. And then in here, you can see where they rotate up and down. I don't imagine they rotate 360, or else, no, they couldn't, because they would knock into the engine support struts right there. Anyway, those look pretty cool. This is a shield generator for keeping me safe from all those bad guys that are trying to kill me. And here are those thrusters that I was mentioning. Obviously need to be detailed out some more. I like how it's has sort of a organic look. It's not all like geometric straight panel sections. It's nice and curvy. Very nice. This is one of the entry points to the ship. This obviously raises up when the ship is flying around. That would be kind of funny, having that hanging out there when you're flying around. Imagine getting that snagged on an asteroid or something. Here's the other gun over here on this side. Nice. And here are those missiles I was talking about, the size 2 and size 3 missiles. Sorry, the video is a bit kind of skips around like that. Did you see that? Like right there and right there. That's not the computer, it's just the fact that this game is still in pre-alpha, and that's just the nature of game development and game testing. You have to deal with this stuff. This is one of the landing skis, I guess you could call it. And there's been some talk of whether these retract up into this section right here. Let me crouch down here. So you can see by looking right there, it looks like they're just fixed into place. But these do, in fact, retract up into this section here. It just hasn't been modeled yet. So I know that for a fact. A nice close-up look at those engines. Look at all that detail. That's amazing. I can squeeze in here. And this is one of the articulated supports for the engines right there. So these actually rotate downward when the ship is landing, or you're doing some tricky maneuvers in space. So this whole section right here, that all rotates up and down, while the main fuselage of the ship remains fixed. Here is the rear hatch for the cargo bay. So if I can get it to activate. Come on. There we go. Get out of the way! Cool. Okay, now I'm going to try something here. We're going to look at the cargo bay later, but I want to try something. Hit that. Run out here to the edge. And up! Oh, oh crap! Okay, let's try that. Let's try that again. Come on. Activate. I'm trying to get up on top of the ship. And I'm using the doorway here as a lift to get me up there. Walk out here to the edge. Come on. Up we go. Yes! Made it! Okay. That was pretty clever. Alright. I can get a better view of those engines from up on top. Pretty cool stuff. And these are those articulated support sections for the engines. Okay, it's one of the thrusters. And this is a nice look at that rear turret gun. Looks like it has the same seating as the cockpit. Can I see in there? Yeah, you can see some of the controls. This is that. This is a hatchway that's inside an airlock that is below this. There's the cockpit down below. We'll be going down there next. And this here, this is the intake for the jump drive. So the jump drive is housed right back inside there. Look at all that detail. Sorry it's kind of skipping like that. There's nothing I can do about that. I tried adjusting my settings. I have a pretty powerful computer too. So, anyway, check that out. And these metal flaps articulate as well. Alright, let's jump off. Alley-oop. Piece of cake. Now let's take a look on the inside. Come on, activate. Okay. Get out of the way. I like how those two things here extend out. That's pretty cool. So here is the cargo bay. Wow. Look at that mechanism for raising and lowering the hatch. Huh. Pretty cool. This stuff has not even been textured yet. Interesting. Well, there's the cargo bay. And this bright, shiny metal thing right here, this is where the lateral support mechanism is for the engines. It comes across inside the ship and out to the opposite side. And let's go inside the airlock. Closed door. Excellent. Oh, wait. Danger. Do not stand here. What? Wait a minute. Right here? Or where? Over here? What happens if I stand? What happens if I stand here? Well, nothing, I guess. Okay. Oh, this is the escape hatch we saw when we were climbing up on top. And that is, I believe, a extendable little portable ladder that comes down and somehow connects down below. So that's how that works. And I can't stand there either. Oh my gosh. Let's go inside the cockpit. Always like to close doors behind me. Come on. There we go. Nice little sink there. Storage up there. Come on. Why isn't this activating? Oh, okay. Bathroom with... Come on, let me in. Let me in. With a shower up above. And there are the controls for the shower. Interesting. Okay. And these are computer terminals with a little fold-out seat. But they both activate at the same time. So if only one person wants to use this one also comes out and it blocks your way getting into the cockpit a little bit. That's kind of weird. Okay. Bunk beds right here for taking a siesta. Watch a little TV on the monitor. Okay, enough resting. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Yeah, because here's the ladder that goes up to it. And another ladder right here. Which is odd because it's a 2-person ship. So why are there 4 bunks? Maybe if you have some guests along. Here's the cockpit. Nice, modern, clean-looking controls. Let's have a seat. Yeah, this still needs to be worked on because you can tell looking across here that I'm literally sitting inside of the seat. I would normally be raised up a lot higher than this because, yeah, I'm inside the seat. But still, you can get sort of an idea of the visibility. These mullions really block a lot of your visibility. They're a bit too chunky for my taste. Okay, let's get out. Very nice detail. And again, we have pilot, co-pilot, and 2 other seats down there. So that's 4. Then we have 2 computer control areas. That's 5 and 6. Then somebody up in the turret. That's 7. So it's a 2 cruise ship. You have 7 stations. I don't understand why this is designated as a 2 cruise ship when there are 7 stations in the ship. If anyone out there know why that's the case, leave me a comment. Interesting. Okay, so let's exit out this way. Okay. I wish there was a way to make this retract, but you can't do it from inside the hangar. Well, there she is, the Freelancer MAX. A space truck with attitude. And now let's go inside the cargo bay itself and see if we can get some idea of how much cargo the Freelancer MAX can actually hold. Here we are inside the cargo hold, and according to my calculations, the hold is 12.8 meters long, or 42 feet, 5.4 meters wide, or 18 feet, and around 15 feet high, or 4.57 meters in height. And this comes to 42 feet by 18 feet by 15 feet, which comes to around 11,340 cubic feet, or 321 cubic meters. And to give you a more realistic idea of how much space that actually is, I'm going to do the same thing where I compare that amount of space to something that we see all the time here in the modern world. In this case, we're going to compare it to a standard shipping container that you see on trains, like this one here. I'm not referring to the 2 smaller ones below. As a reference, I'm using the tall one, the one on top there. In the United States, the standard train shipping container is around 19.5 feet by 7.7 feet by 7.8 feet, or 1,170 cubic feet of volume, which is around 33 cubic meters. So if you take how much volume there is in the Freelancer MAX cargo bay and divide the size of a shipping container into that, we can see that the Freelancer MAX can hold around 9.7 large-size train shipping containers. And this is a by volume measurement. I mean, realistically, you can't actually fit, 10 train shipping containers inside the Freelancer because there's lots of other mechanical systems in the cargo bay that get in the way. Just due to the actual physical shape of the container, they won't fit. So this is just a by cubic volume measurement that I'm referring to. What I would like to do next is compare the Freelancer MAX to other ships you can buy that are also suitable for transporting cargo. And I want to go with a low-end ship and a higher-end ship. So here along the left-hand side are all the variables I'm going to compare. And along the top here we have the Freelancer MAX, the Aurora ES, and the Constellation Taurus. Now on the Aurora, there are about 5 or so varieties you can choose from, and I realize that the Aurora CL has more storage capacity, but I wanted to go with the ES because it's a really low-priced economic version of the Aurora, and so I figure a lot of people will have bought that ship, so it will be more meaningful to use that one in the comparison. So let's look at the main engines first. As you can see, the Freelancer MAX and the Constellation basically have the same engine capabilities. The Aurora, of course, is much, much weaker in this regard. As far as the thrusters go, the Constellation has a little bit more thruster power than the Freelancer, but the Constellation is a much larger ship. Now, the downside here is that the Aurora ES does not come with a jump drive, whereas the Freelancer and the Constellation do. And as you can see, the size of the shields correspond pretty much with the size of the ship, the Aurora being the smallest, the Freelancer in the middle, and the Constellation in the larger. So it stands to reason that they would have shield sizes comparable with the size of the actual ship. As far as weapons go, the Aurora is fairly weak when it comes to weapons. The Freelancer MAX, as I said before, packs a serious punch. The Constellation Taurus packs an even more serious punch, as you can see by the weapons that are listed there. Now, the real difference comes in freight units, and I'm using the old calculation method, not the new one that was introduced yesterday. So the Freelancer MAX holds 280 freight units, whereas the Aurora ES has 16, and the Constellation Taurus has nearly 2,000. That is a significant difference. And as far as the crew complement goes, like I said, the Freelancer MAX has 2, the Aurora ES has 1, Constellation Taurus has 4. And the prices of these ships bring up some interesting bits of data. Currently, as of April 2015, the standalone ship for the Freelancer MAX is $140. For the Aurora, it's $20, and for the standalone Constellation Taurus is $150. Now, if you take into consideration how much storage space they have and divide that into 140, you can see that the Freelancer MAX costs 50 cents per freight unit, the Aurora ES $1.25 for freight unit, but the Constellation Taurus is only 8 cents per freight unit. So if you're really focused on getting the most efficient use of how much cargo you can transport compared to how much you'll be investing in the ship itself, the Constellation Taurus at 8 cents per freight unit versus the Freelancer at 50, it's a better deal if you're only focusing on that one aspect. So the question that comes to mind is, why would you buy a Freelancer MAX at $140 when you can get a Constellation Taurus for only $10 more, but it has so much more cargo capacity? Well, there are a few things to keep in mind. One is that with a Freelancer, you can get by with a crew of 2. So you can have yourself and a friend, or yourself and a NPC character, and you're all set to go out there. With the Constellation, you have much more overhead as far as crew goes. You need 4 people, or you and a couple of NPC characters. But those NPC characters still have to be paid, you see. So as far as crew goes, there's more expense overhead with the Constellation. Constellation is also a larger ship, which means it's a bigger target for pirates. It's also a juicier target for pirates because they know that a Taurus can hold 1,900 freight units, whereas the Freelancer only holds 280. So it's not as tempting as the Constellation is. Something you need to keep in mind. Also, let's go back to those engines. Both of these ships have 4 of the size TR5 engines, but the Freelancer is a much smaller ship. So as far as the power ratio of the engines versus the size and mass of the ships, you get more bang for the buck by going with the Freelancer as opposed to the Constellation Taurus. But then on the other side of the coin, if you can transport so much more cargo with the Constellation, that translates to more profit for you, a lot more profit, which can be used to cover your extra overhead as compared to the Freelancer. So you have some negatives and positives to both the Freelancer and the Constellation. And so there you have it, a look at the Freelancer MAX up close and personal. Now, this is the first review of a Star Citizen spaceship that I have ever done, and I'm really, really curious to know what all you guys out there think of the style that I have used to examine the Freelancer MAX. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Was it really informative? Is it weak in some spots? And so on. So I'm really interested in getting your feedback. So leave me a comment and let me know what you guys think. And of course, if you really want to show support for my channel, please click on the subscribe button below. Until next time, this is Citizen Academy, wishing all of you fame and fortune in the verse.